Imagine this. A beautiful, clear sky. It's a September morning, seems totally ordinary. September 11th, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Sunlight glinting off buildings, just not a cloud in the sky. For almost everyone, it's just another Tuesday, routine.
Just a Tuesday.
But then, in just a terrifying blink, that ordinary morning turns into, well, unimaginable chaos.
It's a day obviously etched into history now.
Yeah.
But these tapes we're diving into, they show something really startling. It's the difference, the huge gap between how we remember it and the raw, minute-by-minute reality for the people on the front line.
Exactly. A reality just filled with confusion, fragmented information.
Total confusion.
So our mission today is to go beyond those familiar headlines, to really explore that raw, moment-by-moment experience. It's all captured in hundreds of hours of newly recovered military and air traffic control tapes.
Yeah, these lost tapes.
We're going to unpack the sheer confusion, the chilling reality, and honestly, some surprising facts about how unprepared America's, huge protective infrastructure really was for that ultimate day of reckoning.
It wasn't just a retelling of facts people already know. This is about the human experience, the systemic failures under pressure we've never seen before.
And these insights, they come straight from the Lost Tapes of September 11th documentary, right?
Yeah.
Piecing together the actual voices, ground, air, unfiltered.
Exactly. Voices you don't normally hear in the standard narrative. It gives you this really unfiltered perspective on a day we thought we knew.
Think of this deep dive as your shortcut to really grasping the chaos, the confusion of that day. You'll get a new perspective on the real-time decisions, or sometimes the agonizing lack of decisions.
And the communication breakdowns. Those are huge, critical.
Yeah. So what's the most striking thing you noticed right off the bat from these tapes? Beyond just the horror, I mean.
Well, it's the contrast, isn't it? The sheer casualness of that morning compared to what came next.
Mm-hmm.
The frantic calls from the air.
Right.
On September 11, 2001, the tapes describe it just like you said. Beautiful weather day, brilliantly clear, not a cloud in the sky, just perfect. No hint at all of the disaster about to unfold.
That perfect morning irony is just, wow. Especially for someone like Ben Sliney, his very first day.
First day as the chief of air traffic control at the FAA. That's the civilian side managing all the air traffic.
Yeah, and he actually thought, I would have quite an easy day of it. His words.
Can you imagine? Meanwhile, up near Syracuse, New York, you've got NEADS, Northeast Air Defense Sector. That's the military's nerve center for air defense on the East Coast.
The place that commands the fighter jets in an emergency.
Right. And Colonel Bob Marr is overseeing a routine military exercise, Operation Vigilant Guardian.
Simulating Russian bomber attacks, right. Their main job was defending against external threats.
Exactly. So the mood on the operations floor, according to the tapes, relaxed. Totally routine.
And you had people like Stasha Roundtree, 23 years old, an ID tech at NEADS, only 6 weeks out of training, just getting started.
Yeah, just finding her feet on what should have been a standard day.
What gives us this incredible window, this deep dive capability, is that fact that almost every single word these people say, military, air traffic control, it's all recorded.
Every transmission, every voice communication. It's this huge trove of recordings.
Yeah.
That's what lets us really get inside that day.
And that window opens pretty ominously at 8:09 a.m. Boston air traffic control guy named Dan Brano makes routine contact with American Airlines Flight 11. Seems totally normal.
Totally standard procedure.
But just 5 minutes later, 8.14, contact lost. American 11 goes, no radio.
And you hear the controller, Bueno, getting, increasingly urgent. American 11, if you hear Boston Center again, please, or acknowledge that first little flicker where routine starts to feel wrong.
So what does no radio actually mean right then? Is it immediately panic stations?
Not necessarily panic, no. It could happen for technical reasons.
Yeah.
But the way Bueno keeps trying, you can tell this felt different. Something was off.
And then it gets really chilling. Just minutes later, 8:19 a.m., a phone call comes into American Airlines reservations.
Yeah, this is Betty Ong, a flight stewardess on American 11.
What does she say?
She reports the cockpit isn't answering their phones. She says, somebody's got mates or something in business class. We can't breathe. And, crucially, the door won't open.
Wow.
And she specifically says someone's been stabbed. Just that raw word, it conveys sheer terror.
And it doesn't stop there. Shortly after, another call. Flight service manager Michael Woodward gets one from Amy Sweeney, another flight attendant.
Yeah, and her words are just unforgettable. She says, "Thank God it's you. Listen to me, and listen to me very carefully."
Oh, my God.
She describes a Middle Eastern person, speaks no English, seat 10B, says there's severe bleeding, a flight attendant with a slashed throat.
Horrific.
And she says the plane is all over the place, flying erratically, in a rapid descent. Then the call just cuts out. Lost.
These calls are the first real-time intelligence, aren't they? Something truly awful is happening up there.
Absolutely. But the terror isn't over. At 8:24 a.m., a voice comes straight from American 11's cockpit. Clearly a hijacker.
What does he say?
Broadcasts. We have some planes. Just stay quiet and you'll be okay. We're returning to the airport. Then, nobody move. Everything will be okay. If you try to make any move with yourself and the airplane, let's stay quiet.
We have some planes. Plural.
Yeah. The tapes describe hearing that as feeling like a punch in the gut, just helplessness. That phrase, we have some planes, it's the first hint of coordination. But in the moment, maybe you dismiss it.
Yeah.
A hijacker trying to sound tough.
Hard to know. So by 8:29, American 11's been silent for 15 minutes. Dan Bueno finally alerts the FAA Command Center, the main civilian hub, says they have no idea where he's going.
And then, 4 minutes later, 8:33, Bueno does something crucial. He breaks protocol. Contacts Otis Air Force Base directly to scramble fighters.
But that's where the disconnect starts, right? Because civilian ATC could ask, but the actual order to scramble, the command, had to come from NEADs.
Exactly. The Military Command Authority. That's NEADs.
So the call reaches NEADs, where they're still thinking, routine exercise day.
Yeah. And the question you hear on the tape is this real world or exercise? The answer comes back sharp. No, this is real world.
And the ID techs, like Stasha Roundtree, they overhear hijack, and their first reaction.
Cool. That's what the tape says, which sounds crazy now, but it shows how hijackings back then were usually seen as, well, not something that was very devastating. That perception changed fast.
So Mission Crew Commander Kevin orders fighters to battle stations, pilots in cockpits. But there's a huge problem.
A critical problem. The hijackers turned off American 11's transponder.
The thing that broadcasts its ID, speed, altitude, makes it visible on radar.
Right. Once that's off, the tape says, in all respects, he was quite invisible to us. And it's clear. The hijackers knew exactly what they were doing, going lower, slower, trying to evade detection. This wasn't just a glitch.
It was deliberate, calculated, blinding the system.
Totally. And just as those F-15s from Otis are getting ready to take off, reports start flooding in from other pilots.
What's going on in New York? There's a lot of smoke coming out of the Trade Center.
Yeah. Then Kennedy Airport confirms fire at the World Trade Center, right where American 11 was last seen.
And Dan Bueno's reaction captures it all, right? The disbelief.
Yeah. That wouldn't have been American 11. Could have been. The mind just struggles to process the impossible.
And then the answer comes. Instantly, a voice reports, an airplane just hit the World Trade Center, relayed as, it's on the world news.
And the entire traffic control area goes, according to the tapes, absolutely dead silent.
The unimaginable, now terrifyingly real, on live TV.
And the nightmare just escalates, terrifyingly fast. Almost immediately after that first impact, another controller reports another situation right here.
United 175 missing. They can't get a hold of it.
The system is reeling from the first hit, and bam, another shockwave.
It's just brutal. Real-time crisis management falling apart.
At 9:02 a.m., NEADS gets a report, second possible hijack. New York controller Dave Vitelli is trying to reach United 175, and the plane starts a radical descent. Staff at Newark Airport Tower actually see it from their window.
You can hear the horror in their voices on the tapes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, he's in the ground on the next hit. Then, oh, my God, that's the Trade Center right there. Another one just hit the building. Wow. Wow, just hit it hard. All building just came apart. Holy smokes.
Just raw audio of people watching it happen.
And the silence in the control rooms just deepens. Me aides. 200 miles away, they're watching this unfold live on TV, too.
The tapes capture that collective sinking feeling.
Totally. A visceral shift. That made everybody sink. And I swear, everybody at the same time just kind of, it was like, I don't even know how to explain it. Just that real.
Yeah.
It's real. It's happening. People are being killed. The drill becomes devastation.
And the fighters, still nowhere near. 9:07 a.m., 4 minutes after the second plane hit, the F-15s are still over 100 miles away. 7 minutes flying time.
Still too far.
Yeah.
And you hear the desperate call. Just get me somebody who has the authority to get military in the air now.
The system is just screaming for a command structure that isn't there for this kind of threat.
And the bad news just keeps piling up. Over Indianapolis, American 77 just vanishes off radar. Another one gone. Another potential weapon.
This is when Ben Sliney, first day, remember, makes that huge call.
Monumental decision. Realizing America's under attack, he orders a national ground stop. All takeoffs halted, nationwide.
His reasoning on the tapes is pretty stark.
Yeah. I wanted to gain control over the situation. In my mind, there were missiles flying around. I wanted to take as many out of the sky as possible.
Over 4,000 planes in the sky at that moment. An unprecedented move, but a decisive one, even if it was sort of isolated from the military side.
Absolutely. But, I mean, amidst all that chaos, a really critical mistake happens. It shows just how fragile intelligence was in that moment.
What was that?
At 9:21 a.m., NIDI 8 gets a report that American 11, the plane that hit the first tower nearly 40 minutes earlier, is still in the air and heading for Washington, D.C.
Wait, what? How?
Just bad information. Multiple inputs, the analysis says, not all of them accurate. So, Needs, believing there's another hijacked plane heading for the Capitol, scrambles F-16s from Langley Air Force Base in Virginia.
Chasing a ghost? Sending vital resources after a plane that's already crashed?
Exactly, misdirecting everything. And as if that wasn't enough, Cleveland Air Traffic Control loses contact with United 93.
And they hear
Screaming directly from the cockpit. The terror is just spreading and mutating.
Unbelievable. So 9:34 a.m., Cleveland tells the FAA Command Center that United 93 may have a bomb on board. Why?
Because he's screaming that on the frequency. Apparently, one of the hijackers or someone was saying it over the radio.
Okay. Then 2 minutes later, United 93 turns around, starts flying back toward Washington.
Yeah, and Cleveland asks for immediate military support. The urgency is just off the charts.
But meanwhile, Anise is still focused on that Phantom American 11.
Right. At 9:35, more news comes in about the Phantom. 6 miles southeast of the White House. Just seconds in flying time. The White House is apparently in imminent danger.
Based on totally wrong information.
Totally wrong. So the F-16s from Langley are ordered to protect the Capitol, but then another staggering blunder.
What happens?
They realize the jets are 60 miles off the coast. 150 miles away from D.C., they'd flown the wrong way. Standardized scrambled procedures that take you out over water, designed for external threats, not internal ones coming from inland.
Wow!
Colonel Nippany at NEADS gets, as the tapes describe, really, really pissed. Yelling, "Why'd they go up there, damn it?" He orders them, "Go supersonic." Says, "I don't care how many windows you break."
You can just feel the frustration, the stakes of those lost minutes, the system failing them.
Absolutely. And while those F-16s are still racing the wrong way, then trying to get back.
The unthinkable happens again. Live TV, smoke pouring out of the Pentagon.
Yeah. And the plane that hit wasn't the Phantom American 11. It was American 77, the one that disappeared over Indianapolis.
The reaction on the ops floor.
Shock, but also this grim determination. Someone says, we've gone from peacetime almost into full wartime within an hour. You hear that shift.
It's almost impossible to comprehend that speed, hearing it in real time.
And that brings us to United 93. A different battle was happening there, but it was almost invisible to the command centers. Why?
Communication breakdown. Again, the FAA headquarters never notified the military about United 93.
The military found out almost by accident. It just hammers home that flaw. Our communications were not designed for this type of war. Our interactions were not designed for this type of war. Separate universes, almost.
It really sounds like it. Then at 9:39 a.m., the hijackers on United 93 make a mistake.
A huge mistake. They broadcast an announcement meant for the passengers, but it goes out over the air traffic frequency.
What do they say?
Something like, "We have home aboard, and we are going back to the airport, and we have our demands, so people remain quiet." The wording's a bit garbled, maybe "bomb aboard," but it reveals their intent.
And it lets the passengers know what's really going on. It gives them that terrible clarity.
Exactly. And they start acting on it. Passengers like Mark Bingham make calls, talk to loved ones. You're getting intelligence from the ground that the command centers aren't getting effectively.
His mother calls back, leaves that message.
Powerful message. The news is that it's been hijacked by terrorists. They are planning to probably use the plane as a target. If you possibly can try to overpower these guys, just incredible bravery being sparked by information from the outside.
And while this desperate fight is unfolding on United 93 at 9:59 a.m.,
live on global TV, the first World Trade Center tower collapses.
America goes from peacetime to the grip of the biggest terrorist attack in its history. Less than an hour. And the system is still scrambling, still behind.
Way behind. The race against time for United 93 is almost over, and the military is still largely in the dark about it. 10:07 a.m. That's 39 minutes after United 93 was confirmed hijacked. Easy finally gets a call.
What's the call?
We got a United 93 out here. Are you aware of that? That has a bomb on board.
But they lost its transponder signal by then, too.
And even if they could find it, even if the fighters got there, another layer of unpreparedness.
Yeah. The fighters had no clear guidance what to do. There was negative clearance to fire. The military couldn't just arbitrarily shoot anybody we want out of the air.
They needed authorization, a clear chain of command for this specific, unprecedented situation, and it wasn't there.
Not in time. Just 4 minutes later, 10:11 a.m. Nidavis calls Washington ATC, asking about United 93.
And the reply.
Devastating. He's down. Controller confirms he did not land. Crashed somewhere up northeast of Camp David.
Another plane they couldn't stop. You can just hear the anguish in the tapes.
Huh.
Absolutely. It leads to that hard truth the tapes reveal. The vast infrastructure that had been built to protect the country had completely failed.
And in those critical moments, the last line of defense
Was the passengers and crew on United 93. Ordinary citizens. For anyone tracking national security, that's just a chilling realization about vulnerability.
So when did the actual authorization to shoot down a plane finally come?
Not until 10:32 a.m. That's 29 minutes after United 93 had already crashed. A message finally gets through to Needs. Region commander has declared that we can shoot down tracks that do not respond to our direction.
Cleared by the vice president.
Yeah. The message was clear. We will take lives in the air to preserve lives on the ground. A profound, terrible shift in policy born out of sheer desperation.
It was too late.
Way too late. By that point, there were no more hijacked planes in the sky. The order to shoot them down came too late. Need spent that entire morning basically chasing phantoms.
So these tapes, ultimately, they reveal the extraordinary chaos, the confusion.
And just how unprepared this military superpower was for the greatest terrorist attack in its history. It's a stark reminder. Even the biggest systems can be blindsided by something truly new, truly unexpected.
When you listen to these tapes, what really stands out?
It's the speed, just astonishing speed of events. The systemic communication failures agencies just not built to talk to each other this way for this kind of threat.
Right.
And the human element, you hear the disbelief, the frantic efforts, the desperation, but also incredible courage on the ground, in the air, that shift from peacetime assumptions to wartime reality in less than an hour. It's agonizing to listen to.
So for you listening to this, hearing these raw, unfiltered moments, what does it all mean? It's a really sobering look at how even a superpower's vast infrastructure, can completely fail its main mission.
And how the ultimate defense in that moment fell to ordinary citizens on a plane.
Yeah. This deep dive into the lost takes of 9/11, it really challenges our assumptions about national security, about preparedness when faced with something truly unexpected.
Leaves you with a provocative thought, doesn't it?
It does. What else might a well-funded, highly structured defense system be unprepared for? And how do the lessons of that day, the hard lessons from these types, continue to shape how we approach security in a world that keeps changing?